here the secret is the imagination and fiction. You invent fictional stories, and as long as you manage to convince everybody to believe in the same fictions, everybody will obey the same laws, the same norms. This is something that only humans can do. For example, you can never convince a chimpanzee to give you a banana by promising him that after you die, you'll go to chimpanzee heaven and you will receive lots and lots of bananas for your good deeds. No chimpanzee will ever believe such a story and will ever be willing to give you a banana for such a story. But Homo sapiens does believe such stories. People do believe that, oh, okay, if I help to build this cathedral, or if I go on crusade and die, then after I die, I'll go to heaven. And this is the basis for all large-scale human cooperation. It's true not only in the religious field. It's if you even look at economic structures or political structures, you find the same phenomenon, that cooperation is based on fiction. Today, for example, our legal systems are based on this idea of human rights. But human rights is just a fiction, an invention of humans, just like God or heaven. The same way that God and heaven are stories that we invented, human rights also are not a biological reality. It's not that in the DNA of Homo sapiens you find the Declaration of Human Rights written in amino acids. And it's not a biological fact. It's only in the last few centuries that humans invented this story and began to believe in it. And once everybody believes in it, then you can create a legal system. And the same thing is happening in the economic sphere, for instance, with money. Money is probably the most successful fiction ever invented by humans. It has no value in itself, just as human rights are not a biological reality. So money is not a physical or biological reality. You cannot eat it, you cannot drink it, it has no value. But if everybody believes, if you have the bankers and the presidents and the kings tell you that this piece of paper is worth 10 bananas, and everybody believes the story, so you can go to a complete stranger, say in the market, give him this worthless piece of paper and get 10 bananas in exchange. This is again something that chimpanzees cannot do. They may exchange things. Okay, you'll give me a banana, I'll give you a coconut, this can work. But you give me a banana, I'll give you this piece of paper in exchange. No chimpanzee will be willing to do such a trade. Mm-hmm. And in this way, fiction and the ability to believe in fiction was the secret of our ability to create these large networks of cooperation.
Yeah, but if you say money, then we could say that the whole capitalist system or banks or companies that are all around are also fiction. Do we live in a fictional world then?
Yes, again, corporations, like you think about Google, or you think about Toyota, or about General Motors, these are just stories that we invented. It's not a physical reality. If you ask yourself, what is a corporation, like Google, then obviously it's not the product of the corporation. You can destroy all the products, say, of Toyota, all the cars, Toyota still exists. It's not the workers. You can fire all the workers, and still the company exists. It's not the buildings, the machinery. Some disaster might destroy all the factories, all the machinery. The company still exists. It has money. It can borrow money from the bank, and it can build new factories or hire new workers. So what are corporations? They are what lawyers call legal fictions. It is stories that we have invented 500 years ago. There were no corporations in the world. And then lawyers came up with this idea, let's imagine that there is such a thing as a corporation, as a limited liability company that can borrow money and can pay taxes and so on and so forth. And this story was so successful that corporations became the main economic players in the world. And we treat them as if they are real entities. But in fact, they are stories, very effective stories, that exist only in our common imagination.